You like my comfy, cozy setup?
Dude, I
What's going on?
put
Look
it
at me. I'm
all
living the life
together.
of a king. I'm looking at both cameras, multicam setup.
I'm doing.
You had back surgery. I come in here thinking like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. This is going to be our new shtick. We're both just going to be couch guys. And here you are at a 90-degree bend at the hip. And I'm in a half crunch.
I did
I have
so
my
much core.
Dyson vacuum is in the shot, so people think I'm a baller.
I've done so much
dear.
core the last week to be able to sit up for a podcast, and then I show up and you're freaking lounging.
We got to keep people on their toes, so here we are. It's
Unreal.
nice. I don't have the big mic in front of my face, so people who notice that I play with it will be like, hell yeah, he's not going to do that this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, I finished my video that we mentioned a few weeks ago that your son did the voiceover for.
Yeah.
Let's play that right now for YouTube people.
Dear Mom and Dad, when I got off the bus at camp, I was really nervous. I didn't know anyone, and I wasn't sure if I'd like it here. Now, I don't want to leave. I've done so many cool things. There's always something exciting here to try. I learned how to paddle a canoe and how to start a fire. And I even learned how to water ski behind a big boat. The best part is, I learned how to be brave. I tried things I never thought I could do. Now I feel like I can do anything. I've also learned how to work together with my friends, like when we had to fix our tipped sailboat, or when we got to perform our play. It feels really good to help each other and cheer each other on. I like being part of a team. I also don't even miss my tablet. There's so much to do here, and it feels amazing to just be outside all the time. I've started noticing little things, like the different sounds loons make, how easy birch bark is to peel, and how nothing feels better than being in the lake on a hot day. I've made so many friends. We laugh all the time, like until our stomachs hurt, and we sing songs so loud that I lose my voice. It feels like we've known each other forever. We call each other brothers now. The counselors are the best too. I call them my big brothers. They've taught me so much and they're always here to help when I need it. The biggest things I've learned though are about me. I've learned that I can do hard things, even when they're scary. I've learned that it's okay to mess up, as long as I keep trying my best. And that being kind and helping other people feels really good inside. Thank you so much for sending me here, Mom and Dad, and for believing in me when I wasn't sure I could go away on my own. Anaka feels like my other home, and like I belong here. It's a place where I've made so many friends, where I've learned lots of things, and where I've had the best summer of my life. I can't wait to tell you all about it when I get home. I love you.
You did not hear that if you're listening on streaming, but you can go check it out in the first few minutes of the video on YouTube. What did you think of it, man?
I mean, well, I'm a little biased, maybe a lot biased.
Because it's your kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
He did an excellent job though, man.
The art form was absolute crap, but because he was in it, I loved it. No, it's a great concept. It was a great narrative. I think let me give you a long answer. First of all, I'll give you the short answer. I loved it.
Are you capable of short answers?
Yeah, it was great. Great concept, executed, cool shtick, if you will, like using a kid to do the work. But no, it was great. I'm so turned off by like just B-roll kind of video.
Yeah.
I get it's important sometimes, but like when someone's like, "Oh, I'll do a video for your company or your cabin or your camp or whatever," and it's just like music and B-roll. That's fine, but to be able to find a thread, a narrative, a story is hard, really difficult.
Yeah.
That also isn't too specific and also encompasses like what you're trying to do and accomplish. So again, I don't want to give you too much credit, but bravo.
No, give me as much credit as humanly possible.
Bravo,
No, I
man. It was
absolutely
great.
hear you. Like it's so easy to be like, get the paycheck, put all my clips together, and just kind of just put out something cookie cutter. And that's fine and that's great. And then it's another thing to say, okay, I'm going to pick a very unique narrative and make it work.
Mhm.
And to just like go for it, even though you know it's going to be difficult. And I can't wait to look back on that in 5 years and see all the mistakes and think that it's crap, because hopefully I'll have improved that much since then. That's just like, that's the way it goes. That's the photographer, creator, videographer's journey.
Yeah.
You look back 5 years and you're like, wow, that was excellent for my skill level at the time. And it was the best I could possibly do. And clearly I've evolved because I think differently of it now.
Maybe technically. But you might find you're hard pressed to be like, wow, that was such a cohesive narrative and like creative concept. That's the bar I'm striving for again and again and again.
Sure, with my new abilities.
Yeah, I think again to like music, like songwriting, like your best songs might have been in 2000, and you listen back and you're like, damn, like the recording process and production and whatever has come so far that I would have done things differently. However, the meat of those songs was like, I can never recreate that, or it'd always be striving to recreate that. So I don't know. I thought, again, I think it was very strong in terms of like a story. I didn't even have to, so when you sent it, I was admittedly not available to watch it. I was like, I'll watch this in a little bit. However,
I was like, oh God, it sucks. It's terrible.
I was carting my son around from this or that basketball, maybe, or I don't know. We were busy. We were driving around. Maybe I had an appointment. I forget, but we're driving home. So I threw it back to him though, and I was like, "This is the work you've done." And just hearing even the audio and his response to it. I forget exactly what he said, but I sent you his exact quote. Oh, he was funny about it. But he was like,
he said, it's good. It's good. Seth owes me $50.
That's really good. Seth owes me $50. Where's my money? But
so
yeah. But and then sent it to his mom, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm crying. Like I want him to go there." And I was like, "Well, that's the ultimate."
Yeah, you sent me a screenshot of that text.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I hope you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I sent this screenshot, or I forwarded that to my contact at the camp, kind of as a way of saying like, hey, you already have a conversion and we haven't even aired this. Like it solidifies the work that they instantly got what they paid for, in a sense.
Yeah.
Because two people send and again, listeners, this is how you can justify larger prices, especially for licensing. Hey, if two people send their child to camp or whatever business you're working for, buy two of these products, you've paid for the video already and you have an unlimited license. This is why I charge so much. So
yeah. And
I know we remind people frequently of that. It's just, it's a good constant reminder weekly to hear these things so that you're justified in your imposter syndrome like prices at times.
And sometimes you have sometimes you have a great idea prior. I don't know when the developing phase of this concept came to versus what you're charging them and like creating this thing all together. But Nooch caught me up to this concept of like, hey, when looking at video or whatever, or looking at my video in times, he's been like, yeah, that scene or that transition threw me, or that color grade threw me.
Sure.
Meaning like takes you out of it, like reminds you that you're watching a video. And I again, to keep the analogy going, like a great song that really hits you based on the melody and the sound. You might not hear the lyrics. You might not like understand what's actually being said. It's just an entire vibe. And like I said, hopefully people saw it on YouTube and like it. But for me, and again, it is my son, so there's definitely some bias there. But it was hard for me to even like take apart or pick or critique any of the video because the overall concept just worked. And I was like, it just all flowed together. And yeah, the bigger picture was the whole project as its own versus like it's a transition here or there. This, how's the color grade? How's this?
Right.
No, like the whole project was just like great.
Right. Well, I'm Rosie.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned it. You said to me at the start of your monologue there, do you go in with an idea? Often I don't. Often I have a rough idea of what I want to tell in the end, of what I want the outcome to be in the end of the photo set or of the video set. But then the idea for the specific format of the narrative comes to mind in the editing phase after everything is captured. I know that is often a backwards way to do things, and I'd actually like to try getting into the habit of having a full storyboard done before I even start pressing record. However, and again, listeners, just go take 5 minutes out of your day, check this out on YouTube in this episode so it'll make more sense when you're done. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify or whatever. But the camp had given me all this footage from as far back as the 1940s. Beautiful stuff. And I was, first of all, thinking, okay, how can I not use this? This is legendary. There's not many businesses that last 75 years.
Yeah.
And second of all, I was watching the footage back and thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I have this exact shot in the exact place. So that's when, in the moment, the idea for the format of the video comes together. So I wanted to split screen the entire video, or for most of the video, the exact shot that I had taken in the same place of a kid doing the exact movement 70, 50, 40 years later. And then tie that in also with your son doing the voiceover. So my point being, sometimes it's okay to let the idea come to you sporadically in the moment after you've just kind of, I like to call it harvesting. You've been on site and you've just shot a ton of things that you think are interesting and that will pay dividends down the road. Now, to my point of, I'd like to get more into the habit of storyboarding ahead of time so I have exactly what I need. There was a few vintage sequences or video clips where I was like, I wish I had that one. And if I had had the footage ahead of time, I could have, going into the summer, said, okay, I'm going to film this, that, and this. It would have been absolutely perfect. But for what it is, I'm cool. Okay with it. Anyways, let's move on. What do you want to talk about today? Other than that, we've warmed up for 10 minutes here, but.
Yeah.
Are we just going to flow off of what we're talking about?
Yeah, to conclude there, I think there's benefits to potentially both. Sometimes when you go in early with an idea and a concept, you get locked into it and maybe don't see certain aspects of something else, something bigger, something different, quote unquote better. You get very stuck on like, this is the narrative that I'm trying to go film. You might miss certain things. And the other way around, it is beautiful when it comes together. That's happened to me a couple of times where you just have like this footage and you're like, I'm not sure how I'm going to tie this all together. And then some shot or some idea creates this concept and you're able to put it together. So I think both have their benefits. But like you said, if you had such a strong concept and then going into it, not only selling that concept, but being able to really storyboard and be like, I need these 20 shots and I'm good. I will be good for my 2-minute video. And then with this voiceover, it might have made things just super efficient for you.
Yeah.
However, finding it out of the rubble is somewhat exciting as well. So
That's a good way to put it.
yeah. So that's my thought. What do I want to talk about? I don't know. I'm upright.
You want to hear the most Canadian thing though? First
yeah.
of all? So I'm looking outside and there's probably 3 feet of snow on the roofs. So after this podcast, I will be getting onto my roof and shoveling it because I don't want it to. I'm worried about it caving in mid-podcast here.
That'd be amazing.
No, wouldn't I die? Come on. What do you mean it'd be amazing?
But it'd go viral and then post.
Yeah, and I would hope you would call 911 immediately. Not that you'd know the address or anything, but
what's 911 in Canada?
You are so ignorant.
Just 9?
It's just 911. It's the same thing. Why would I reference it as? Why would I reference it as 911?
Because
do you think I'm referencing American culture? Because that's what I'm supposed to do? No.
What's 911 in
Canada here? I don't know. I'm not Mexican. Mexican listeners, write in. Anyways, so I'm looking out my window. So the 3 feet of snow on the roof, needless to say, we've been getting absolutely dumped on. And of course, just as I sit down to do this podcast, the guy who does the snow plowing is looking to plow my driveway. And I usually move my car for him, so he's going to have to come back. Fortunately, he lives 3 doors down. His name's Dan. Good old Dan.
Old Dan's going to have to wait.
So he may pop up on the porch here and say, "Can you move your car?" So we'll have to put a cut in the episode. But I just thought I'd interject Canadian. With that. I'm watching Blue Jays and it's minus 33 out right now. And Blue Jays at the feeder and he wants to come plow. And I'm going to say, sorry, sir, I'm busy.
I'm busy laying on the couch with 17 cameras just pointing at me. He's going to be like,
yeah, it's cool. I'm cozy. Anyways, I'm praying to the Almighty that the roof doesn't cave in. It's bad enough that I can see the studs making up the rafters. Not like actually see them, but I can through the mud of the seams of the drywall. That's obviously where the rafter studs are. I can kind of see the lines of where they are because I guess the weight of the roof is pushing so heavy down.
Yeah. It's like me getting into my suit from 4 years ago.
Yeah, and this is an old building.
Slightly busting at the seams.
It's an old building. So it was built in the 60s, which means they did 2-foot centers back then, clearly, not 16-inch. I would have really preferred 16-inch, but okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so I guess we're on limited time here because I'm going to be getting on the roof. Anyways, so yeah, what do you want to chat about today? We're doing a little morning sesh. We're a little loopy, but I think that was a fun intro. Got anything on your mind?
Anything on my mind? Whoa. Yikes. You just hit your something.
Oh, sorry.
It jolted my brain.
I wiped dust off my mic.
Yeah. Don't ever do that again.
That was funny.
What's on my mind? I don't know. It feels like a slowdown of the new year, and it's sort of like the New Year's wrapping up in a longer than just one day sort of celebration, and moving in slowly to maybe the spring equinox where things can kind of rebloom. That's the timeline I'm on physically, I think. So
okay,
it kind of fits to slow down, assess things, take a look. Personally, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm sitting upright. The back feels good. I'm healing.
Good for you.
Yeah, started PT, doing my own exercises. Things feel good. Back to work. That's fun. That's fine. Whatever. Structure. Nice.
Cool.
And yeah, photography's been slow, obviously.
Yeah, what's the goal with attacking photography and video projects this year? Bigger projects and less of them. More projects.
Yeah,
quitting photography. Like, how are you attacking? How are you attacking this year? I have some thoughts.
Yeah, I would like to. I overall enjoyed last year.
Good.
I think have the capability to super push. I do have another career. It's easy to get to a point of like, I don't want to call it burnout, but just exhaustion. If you're doing everything in the world nonstop and filling all your time in, yeah, it can get a little bit much. I've loved working with the 2 return clients that I have. That's multiple times of work per year. As long as that continues, I will focus on that and try to put my creative efforts into that. I would like to have the opportunities to get outside a bit more than I did last year, and maybe just sit in the woods, be silent, look for a species I haven't photographed before. Try to have some of that old time fun that's definitely taken a back seat compared to paid work and client work and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think just a balance of everything. Again, I feel confident enough in my skill set to be let's call it like a mid-range photographer, videographer. I don't need to be the best. It's not my profession. I don't need to be necessarily. I'd like to improve and improve as things happen, and new toys, new tricks, new editing skills. That's always fun. I've always said it. It's nice to have a career that gives me enough time to pursue those fun things and those passions, whether it's photography, videography, music. I like that balance. And I think with all relationships, like a relationship with photography, videography, this podcast, whatever you're doing, music, how many gigs I have per month, there's always a reasonable level for each individual of like space and need and room to breathe. And keeping that space is somewhat of a balancing act. It's like having a plant that needs water, but not too much water, but not too little water. It's a constant sort of balancing act. So if one of my clients that's been a long-term client was like, hey, we loved working with you, but we're going to go in a different direction, or we hired someone to do this full time, or whatever it may be, and now I just had one client, I might feel a little bit of a vacuum to be like, okay, I want to push a little bit to do something else. Maybe I want to go to local restaurants and offer a package. Maybe I want to offer portrait sessions. I don't, but I'm just saying, like, maybe there's something else that I can do to fill in that space. Or if a third client comes on and is like, we really would love you to do this, and I take that on, maybe it's too much, and then I have to back off and say, like, the one that's not serving me the most, I'm going to get rid of. So I think it's that balance. It's the same with music gigs. I talk about it with John all the time. Like 2 gigs a month is max. If he gets into 3, it starts being not fun.
Interesting.
One is amazing. 1 a month on like a consistent basis is amazing, because it's exciting. You're excited to get out there. You're excited to hang with friends. You want to practice new songs. It feels fresh, all that stuff. But it leaves you also wanting, like, oh, I wish we could do this more. And then you do it a little bit more, and then it gets to a point where you go to like 3 or 4 a month every week, and you're packing your car, lifting this, but setting up, getting paid peanuts, but it's for the love of it. And
ruining your back, lifting gear.
Yeah, this is a little too much with everything else in life. So balance is so important, and I think that's kind of how I'm attacking photography and maybe all of life going into 2026. And we need to talk about our retreat, and hopefully that's happening in 2026.
Well, we have that on the agenda after this, right? Or don't we?
And we can put that together. But that always feels like a lot of the photography cup for me.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, in the last couple of years, it's been like, it's something to look forward to, something to really like scratch that itch. And yeah, so excited to do that. But that's my overall thoughts on the new year and attacking photography and videography and life.
Yeah, very good. It's interesting. You said you're getting the itch again to go outside and photograph wildlife, animals. And the timing couldn't be more perfect, because I feel that way too. And rather than just wanting to go outside and see what you see, even though that's often the case and that's great and exciting. I would like to plan some trips where they're just around my area, or if it's elsewhere on the continent, where there's a deliberate intention to photograph a certain species. Like, let's dig deep into one animal. For example, let's go photograph moose only. I mean, obviously you're not going to say no if you see an owl, but that's the focus. Like, there's an intention, there's an intended target. And it's funny, I just finished Mark Raycroft's, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
Mark Raycroft, he's one of the co-hosts at Beyond the Wild podcast, which I'm sure a bunch of you listen to. I just finished his book called Moose. Really good title, Mark. You nailed it.
Creative title, Mark.
Well, he'll appreciate, even though I'm being a sarcastic shit, he'll appreciate the compliment coming. The book was awesome. Really good. Beautiful photography. I learned a lot about moose that I didn't know. And I'm glad that I was able to get a analog source of inspiration to want to go out and photograph moose wildlife, as opposed to being digitally inspired, which is fine, but which comes with the potential drawbacks of having to be on socials, which comes with its pitfalls. It was nice to be able to pick up a book and get that same spark.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Recently, I guess we're talking kind of about how the year is, how this month has primed the future year for us, photography, videography wise. Last couple weeks, I've been very good at diligently introducing periods of planned boredom in between my activities or events for the day. So starting the day with a cup of coffee and 1,000-yard stare out the window, watching snowfall. Then moving into, okay, it's time for a workout. Only a workout. I'm not watching TV. I'm not texting in between sets. Okay, now it's time for lunch. We're just going to eat lunch and nothing else. And by doing these things, my brain has been so quiet. I've been getting everything on my to-do list done habitually, consistently. I haven't felt, we all have that at times overwhelming chatter. You got to do this, got to do this. The planning brain, the thinking brain. I've been able to turn the volume down significantly to a point where I just feel like I flow into from one thing into the next thing of my daily tasks, projects. And it's been really nice. It makes often that squirrely chatter in the head makes the day feel overwhelming, or like it's going to be difficult to complete everything you would like to. But I think I've been much more generous with, or kind to myself with hey, you worked really hard on this thing for 3 hours. Good things take time. For example, where in the past it'd be like, how did you not finish this today? Like, you should have hustled and got it all done really quickly. I'm just like much more in a flowy place. And I attribute a lot of it to just the deliberate linear approach to daily life. This, then that, period of nothing. This, then that, period of nothing. And, this includes photo video projects. Like, I'll work 3 hours on a photo video project, stop, have a boring 20 minutes, sit, think about my thoughts and problems, and solutions come to mind. And I also just feel like for whatever reason, these are all kind of related. And I realize that this is just cerebral vomit, I call it. I'm just throwing up a lot of thoughts, but I'm sure it's making somewhat cohesive sense. Mm-hmm. I just feel very much in the last couple of weeks like I'm not taking life too seriously, which is excellent. Not in the sense of I don't care about things. I still want to put out great work. Fostering meaningful relationships are still important. Showing up to the podcast. But I feel like I'm able to be just much more myself and laid back and honest when approaching like even this podcast right now, you could have never convinced me to lay on a futon with a Dyson vacuum in the background without my fancy mic with the best sound quality. This is an example of my current state of being. And my performance has increased along with it. Performance being creative output. I'm having tons of good ideas. At least I think they're good ideas creatively for photos, for videos, etc. So looking to carry that don't take things too seriously, but still be professional, work extremely linearly with zero distractions when you're focused on a certain task. Looking to carry that into paid photo, video work, relationships. It feels nice.
It is nice.
Did any of that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. My mom, when I hurt my back or needed surgery, we had this long talk about Western culture and the need to excel in sports that you're not going to pursue beyond 20, the pounding of our bodies, the corporate climb, the financial climb, everything is about go hard.
Yeah.
In some other cultures, I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but back issues in America have to be huge in terms of maybe losing sight on what's important, slowing down, mobility, finding stillness, being able to be okay with yourself mentally, letting go of the stress. Stress affects our bodies, our physiology. That's known. So I think slowing down and what you're describing is something I teach to the kids. It's called segment intention. So for every segment that you have in your day, really stepping into it like there's a line on the ground. Like, oh, I'm stepping into the garage, which means I'm getting in my car to drive to work. My goal is to listen to some music, not be on my phone, pay attention, focus, get there safely. Like giving an intention for every little segment of time.
Yeah, you're describing exactly what I'm learning or improving upon.
Step into math class or I step into a photo shoot. Okay, I'm at a photo shoot. I'm going to put my phone away. I don't need it. I'm going to be alert. I got a good night's sleep. Like I'm just going to focus on what I need to do. Check all my checklists, batteries, SD card, lenses that I need. Just really saying like, what's the actual intention for this 30-minute block? That can be very helpful in like what you're saying. Like, hey, I don't want to text during sets because we've all been there, or in the middle of sets during a break. We've all been there where like, oh, I have a 20-second rest here. I'm going to text. And then they get back to you and now it's like a 5-minute thing. And now it's like, it just derailed even how simple the process is or like what we're trying to do, where now we have to get back to it. Or
the context switching is very hard on the brain, and I think it adds a lot of systemic fatigue.
Yeah. So
even as simple as changing tabs on Chrome, like switch. I check my email while this waits to load.
Mm-hmm.
I send that message while I'm waiting for this. Ooh, next tab. Like I've been operating on one tab open every day. One app open.
The part I really have loved about photography over the years is it's like it's an active meditation, especially with like waiting for an animal. Maybe not when the animal's there and you're photographing it, your kind of excitement, but the waiting part, the part that goes with it, the stillness, the kind of the process, landscape photography of like, I'm going to get up for a sunrise hike. It's dark. I'm now waiting up here for 2 hours for a moment that may or may not happen. It's not guaranteed, and you get what you get, and you don't get upset, and you keep on trying. Like there's something very beautiful and slow about most of photography. Some of it can be fast paced, Yeah,
and I'd like to get back to that. I haven't totally lost sight of that, but I would like to return to that purely. I think commercial work, as fun and lucrative as it can be, can sometimes get in the way of that because there's so many other moving pieces. I got to manage relationships. There's a social element to it. I have to be on it with emails and available and contracts. And I think you do enough of those and it takes up enough of your time where you're having to sacrifice your passion projects, like sitting in the woods for 4 hours, coming back with nothing on your SD card. I think you start to distance yourself from that original meditative state that you loved so much. And I feel like I'm getting back to that place.
Yeah,
and I mean,
definitely.
working linearly, like we just described, it can, just to relate it back to photography. Okay, this is going to be a week project. Today, I'm only doing photos because it's photos and video work. I'm not doing photos and video and trying to get every shiny new object or interesting thing that happens when I'm on set. I'm doing photos. That's it. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm interviewing my subjects. Okay. The day after, I'm filming the product. The mind is so much quieter that way.
And it's hard to, when I was off work for a month and people asked like, oh my, you must be so bored. And my honest answer was not once, because I think when you're able to do what you're doing and stretch out the beauty and the monotony of life and be okay with it, it's hard to get bored in 2026. Like, to really feel like I have nothing to do. You might have 3 things to do in a 12-hour period, but you could slowly enjoy them. Like to wake up and slowly log roll out of bed and get up with intention and body mechanics and start a coffee and slow pour it for literally 25 minutes while it's filling the cup and then enjoy it and then say, hey, I want to practice. One of the things I could do is practice guitar on my back. I'm going to do that for an hour or 2, however long I feel like doing it, until I start to like feel like, all right, I'm all set with this. Then I'm going to make some sort of food slowly from scratch. And then I'm going to take a nap and rest. Healing is great with sleep, or sleep is great for healing, whatever. So yeah, not bored. I think we get into this like frantic state of, I need to be accomplishing. Do as much as you can today. Only 12 hours of daylight. I need to blast through it.
And then you end up doing less because you're so squirrely and there's this insane amount of pressure, I guess, is what I'm saying, speaking from experience, and I've gone the opposite direction.
Or
no
the
pressure,
tortoise in the
no
hare,
rush.
right?
Sure.
Like
you make mistakes.
You might get a lot done, but then you crash and burn. Your back blows out and now you're done for a month or 2. Like versus really deliberately listening and moving along and just checking a few things off the list and doing them with intention.
Yeah, and okay, and then listeners are saying, okay, this all sounds great. How do I practice this? Because it's easier said than done. And by no means are we masters. Everything we talk about on the show is a constant work in progress, like it is for everybody. I found that there's so many easy ways to exercise and train this muscle throughout the day. For example, if you're a sports fan, I like tuning into the Maple Leafs hockey games every once in a while when they're playing. And I've done everything that was more important for the day than watching TV, and I just want to relax. In the past, I would have the game on, maybe be texting a buddy or working out or whatever. Now, I am sitting and watching the game. Nothing else. It feels so strange. No phone, no nothing. Like I said, when I'm sending an email, only Apple Mail is open. Nothing else on the computer. There's just so many opportunities to work this muscle out, and I encourage people to try it because, wow, I feel amazing. Just
it's way
everywhere. I wanted to share something with you interesting that happened to me. What was it? Maybe 2 days ago.
Keep that thought, because you just said something. I just have to ask. Have you heard?
Okay, go ahead.
Have you heard of Netflix talking about like the second screen narratives?
No, this is unfamiliar to me.
I might be quoting it wrong, like what they're calling it, but Netflix, when they're producing movies now or pitching movies, they're accounting for people to be on their phone. So the
Oh my
script,
goodness.
the script has to be super concise, easy, not tough language, so that we can follow along and stay with it and understand what's going on, assuming that most people are also on their phones.
Wow.
If I'm on my phone and watching Succession, which is very like talky and Shakespearean, if you will, I might be like, I'm lost. I don't get it. Like, new show, right? So they're making the assumption that most people are watching while doing other things on their phone, and it has to be easy enough to multitask and understand what's going on to get hooked and stay with it.
Yeah, I was just about to ask then, is the intention that they just simply keep Netflix open, or that they can still better understand, or that they can still understand some of the plot despite being on their phone?
Yeah.
In other words, is it more important to Netflix that people really enjoy the show, or that they think they enjoyed the show, but the screen was on Netflix for an extended period of time?
Maybe a little
Who
both.
knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is I went, so as people know, I don't have Instagram on my phone. That's been about a month and a half, 2 months. Perhaps that this has contributed to a lot of what I've described in the last 20 minutes. But I still have it on my desktop so that I send you the show or the link to the podcast this way.
Yeah.
There's a group with Tamron that I check frequently. Sometimes there's information in there that's need to know. I guess that's really, really it. Oh, and I do guest reach out for the show on there because it's very easy and you don't have to go searching for email, etc. So I was on Instagram 2 nights ago on desktop, and I just went into my a couple of things. First of all, I was actually no. Let me reach. I went into my who I was following, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna check out, see if there's any housekeeping I can do. Unfollow people, whatever. Not that it's really like important, but I just like to do it every once in a while, as people know. And I found myself I don't know what happened, but I started laughing hysterically as I was going through the process of like, oh, do I unfollow them? Do I not? Or like, there was a couple times I'm like, who the fuck is this person? I have no idea who this is.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, multiple times out loud, I was like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing on Earth?
Yeah.
What is this? And I was like, it's almost happening now, where I was just like hysterically cried laughing. I was like, this is just all so ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's gone
and
to
I was like, I was like, oh, I've never talked to you in my life. I don't know who you are. I was like, bye. I was unfollowing. At the same time I was saying out loud, I was like, who the fuck was that guy?
yeah.
I was just dying.
Hilarious.
And then furthermore, it went the other direction too. So I was scrolling and I saw, here's a direct example, Andy Glaze, the ultra runner who's been on the show a few times. Really nice guy. I talk to him every once in a while. It'd been a long time since I had heard from him. And so I did something I've never done in my life. And it just felt, I mean, socially, it may seem strange with just the way the world is structured.
Can I guess?
Digitally?
Can I guess? You went,
guess what I did.
hey man, can I have your actual phone number?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I did something maybe weirder.
okay.
Because what you've just said is a request. I said, well, first of all, I scrolled, it said AM Glaze. I was like, oh, he's a really nice guy. I haven't talked to him in a while. So I clicked message and I said, let me find it right now, actually. This is not me getting distracted. This is intent, folks. Okay. I said, hey man, no ask or request here. I'm just dropping in to say hello, and I hope you and your family are doing well. Keep crushing it, my man. Your run streak is insane. So I literally just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I was like, but I was overcome with this, like, what the? I can't tell you the last time I've been in somebody's inbox or somebody has been in my inbox just to be like, hey,
Hey.
I was just like, what's happened to me? I would never do this in my, I don't, this just doesn't seem like something people do with this app. And he
Yeah.
replied, he liked the message. He says, hi, hope all is well in your world too. That was it. It was just.
And then he sent you a BetterHelp link for therapy.
The funny thing is, like, I felt the most mentally healthy I have in maybe ever while sending that message. It was when you, Brooke Little Bear is coming on next week, folks. So tune in for that. It was when you, me, and her at the same time were also messaging in a group about scheduling a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was loopy. I was dead sober. I promise you all. We were trying to schedule her, and I said, Monday, January 26th, any takers? And she says, let's effing do it. And I replied, skeet, goddamn.
Right.
I'm supposed to be running this professional photography podcast. I'm reaching out to guests, and I reply, skeet, goddamn, when she confirmed the time.
Yeah.
And I had like an OBE, like an out of body experience. I was like, what's happening? What's going on neurochemically in my brain? You know, is it just a culmination of things?
Maybe.
Quitting social media on the phone. My phone is grayscale and boring as hell. All this deliberate boredom. I think it's the sum of the parts. And I think I'm just feeling great.
Yeah.
And it put me into this space where I was like, honestly, that's something I would say to like Haley if we were alone. And that's just like saying, skeet, goddamn, was just like a genuine thing I would say. And it was nice to just be me and not take everything so seriously.
Yeah.
But I thought I would share this interesting experience.
That's quite the experience.
Going through people unfollowing on Instagram, and then just like, I don't know. People who understand the brain better than me, tell me what's happening with me, because it's awesome. And I
your
love
buddy
it.
Chris Williamson,
I love it.
Just showed some stats that just the younger generations are getting off of social media. I think
I don't blame them.
Yeah, tech booms, and it can grab some people. Certain things boom and grabs people, and then there's like there can be a natural sort of revolt to it, or contrarian, or this isn't for me, and a group of people kind of go the other way.
But you know what's funny at the same time? I felt the urge to like, it'd be that same sense of like, well, like whatever. Like, I'm not going to take life too seriously. Made me want to put out a post.
Yeah, do it.
It was just weird.
As you want. Do it as you want. My morning thought today was like, hey, I wonder what 500px is all about. And in thinking about the podcast and thinking about photography, like it's just a chain of thought here, but I was like, maybe that's like a nice sort of, I want to post my photos. I want to have a portfolio, and I don't need all the bells and whistles of, honestly, like, especially lately in America, and I'm sure people can relate. I'm not getting into politics, but just there's a lot of people talking, and you don't even know what's real or who's an expert or who's just making things up. And it gives you a lot of things to think about that maybe you don't need to be thinking about. Maybe you do need to be thinking about also. But sometimes you can think about things for a day, and then someone's like, "Oh, that was a fake story, or that was fake, or that person got arrested for a lie." Like, it's just it can send you down these mental pathways of like anguish and stress that you don't necessarily need. I gave up news on TV a long time ago.
Good for you.
And not even like a necessarily conscious decision, but I just realized like this is not making me feel good a long time ago. So it's not on the TV ever.
It's a great question to ask after everything. How am I feeling after this? How do I feel after this experience, this micro experience?
And again, when I started up Instagram, it wasn't like it is today. I'll tell you that much, in terms of like It was a lot of photos. It was a lot of still actions. You had to actually read a caption if you wanted to like figure out what was going on or what's going on about it. But you get slammed with like scroll to the next thing. Like, oh, I didn't want to see that. I had no choice in the matter.
Yeah,
you
my
know?
experience the other night was great. So if there's anything, try folks. Just you don't want to quit cold turkey. Try a desktop. There's a lot more control. There's a lot more agency over the experience.
Yeah,
Not fully, because you still get fed things on the home feed and in the story, but at least I think being aware that that's happening to you is some agency. But you don't get the endless feed, really. So try it.
Yeah, you're not gonna. It'd be much harder, or it'd be rarer to be like, I'm gonna go downstairs and scroll on the computer through Instagram. Like that's a want, right? Like you might go there and be like, oh, I should check my DMs. I haven't done it in 3 days. Like, let me see if I need to get back to anyone or I need to reach out to someone and then I'll check in a day. Like that's not a crazy turnaround time. We've gotten caught with like this immediacy that needs
and that's
to happen.
what I'm talking about to come full circle back to the start of the episode about introducing periods of boredom. I think what I was saying is when you feel that moment, we unconsciously reach for the phone. We reach for the bag of chips. We reach for...
Oh, chips are good.
I know they are good.
Yeah.
But they quell that potential period of 5 to 10 minutes where you have to sit alone with your own thoughts, which is terrifying, unfortunately, for most of the population. And I think if you can get over that discomfort of having nothing to do, a lot of peace ends up coming over you if you can get over that hump. A lot of great ideas. I'm working on a video right now for Tamron, an unboxing video for their 25 to 200 millimeter lens. We've actually done an ad for it on the podcast here. And normally, maybe not normally, but a lot of the time, my operating procedure is, okay, I'm going to go to Instagram, check out a few reels, watch some unboxing videos, get some inspo, and then go out and storyboard or do the thing. This time I was like, no, you're going to sit down for 30 minutes and think about absolutely nothing. You're going to prime your subconscious with, this is the problem I'm trying to solve. Sit in quiet for 20 to 30 minutes. Notice what you can smell, notice what you can see, notice what you can hear, all the senses, all that stuff, right? When I do this, the 25 to 25 minute mark, the idea always comes to me, even though I'm not consciously thinking of it. Got up, sat down with a pen and paper, wrote out the idea. And I can't tell you the last time I've come up with an idea entirely analog without interacting in some shape or form with the digital world, either with Apple Notes or, like I described, going on to Instagram and getting ideas. Like the idea just came. The creative idea came from I think like induced periods of nothingness and boredom.
Yeah,
and it's
all of history.
Like all of history, and it's just fun.
Yeah,
I want to do more of that. And also because we talk about artistic expression, now it's literally entirely me. It's entirely my idea.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I started this. This is why I started this 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I think it's great. I think
there's nothing wrong with getting inspiration, but I feel like you shouldn't have it as a crutch.
Or an occasional edit on yourself, us included. Again, not perfect. You just try to, what's working, what's not working. You try to look at it and
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, what's working, what's not working. I think with talking to my son, I don't mind he's playing video games occasionally. It's the thing that some kids do. It got super popular with like online stuff and
Fortnite.
During COVID and what have you. And for them to connect, it's a different world than it was when we grew up in terms of like, just go play outside and show back up whenever. Like it doesn't happen, and most families don't do that. They should, but they don't. But we recently just had a really great conversation because all these things can log your hours, right? Like how many hours, let's call it 1,000 hours we spent on Nintendo Switch this year. Okay, what have we got from that except for alleviating boredom
and stress and
potentially.
anxiety?
Oh, wait, sure.
Potentially, it could potentially be alleviating the things it also creates in the moment. But perhaps there's better.
Even if you took that
methods
time, you took that time to say anything. Hey, like you like soccer. If you spent 1,000 hours extra on soccer last year, where would we be? You're liking guitar. If you spent 1,000 hours on guitar, photography, videography. So just looking at things and being like, is this something that's hindering my growth, helping my growth? Is it something I'm distracting from? What is it?
Yeah. Well, we all know these things too. Like if I put down the Switch and I put down Instagram and I did, played guitar, we all know these things. The problem is that the guitar or the soccer has become way less fulfilling for our dopamine receptors. It's difficult to compete with the hyper stimuli and the novelty that Nintendo Switch games bring or the doom scroll brings, which is why in order for those other things you've described, the soccer, learning a language, playing guitar, reading a good book, for those things to become fun again, we have to white knuckle and remove a lot of the other super stimuli. We have to. Otherwise, just simply your brain's not going to say that those things are as fun and you won't be able to enjoy them. And you'll continue to revisit the hyper stimuli. So it's funny when we talk about this, like if you like all these if, it's like, well, we need to remove the source that's absolutely frying our receptors. And we need to bring baseline back down to where the simple things can bring us tremendous joy as almost as much as the highly sugared foods or pick your poison. You know what I'm saying? The bar that we're just we're frying the receptors. So I like what you said about it's okay to edit yourself, and that's a great way to put it. I wanted you to finish what you were saying before I said I feel like I have a firmware update. The little notification on your settings app in your phone where it's just red and you leave it for so long. I finally clicked download install.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah. That's great.
So I don't know, maybe some more cozy sessions. You want a snowplow update? He looked down the driveway, saw that my car was full of snow and that I didn't move it and said, "Nah, I'm going for lunch."
Yeah. That's a smart move. So go take care of that. I gotta move around.
Yeah, well, he might come tomorrow and plow, but I'm going to get on my roof and I'm going to shovel off my roof.
Be careful.
It's a real thing. I'm going to put crampons on so that I don't slide off and hurt myself.
Be careful.
But this is a good podcast episode with you. Hopefully both my cameras recorded. This was cozy. Cozy. We got Brooke next week. So tune in for that. Brooke Little Bear. She's, I think, going to be friends of the show status.
Definitely.
After next week, if she's not already. Yeah. And we got more guests lined up coming. So until next time, buddy.
Take care. Bye.